here's the thing about the Lost Mines of Phandelver. First off, the name is not that hard to say, and I'm sick of pretending that it is. Second, it's a great adventure to get brand new people into role-playing, but it's about as deep as a puddle. So today, I wanted to see if I could improve it. I wanted to accomplish two things: make it more dynamic, and make it a little bit more future-proof so you could build further adventures off of the base. So the first thing I want to do is establish Phandelin's steading tags, and the reason for this is twofold. One, it's the easiest thing we're going to do in the entire video, and two, steading tags are super system agnostic. You can use them in D&D, you can use them in Pathfinder, you could even use them in the Realms of Elghrune. What's Realms of Elghrune? Well, that's a great question. The Realms of Elghrune is actually the sponsor of this video. That's right, I got a sponsor, baby. Let's go! Realms of Elghrune is a rules-light tabletop role-playing game, that's what D&D is, that only uses a D20. It has the world's simplest, most elegant combat system that I've ever seen. Literally, all you have to do is the player rolls a d20, the GM rolls a d20, higher roll wins. Your roll can be modified with gear that you pick up on the way, and there are 7 character classes. And what's super cool about the character classes is that they use perks, kinda like Fallout. Realms of Elghrune comes to Kickstarter in a month. I'll put a link to the mailing list so you can get notified the second it does. It seems really freaking cool. That's why I took their money. I'm genuinely interested in this product, and I really look forward to playing it. Anyway, back to the video. The thing about steading tags is they won't have a massive impact on the written adventure that we have in front of us. Pretty much every single problem is already written out by Wizards of the Coast, and there's no reason to explore any of these threads while we're resolving what they've already done for us. However, if you and your party decide to continue the adventure after you've wrapped up everything, this is a great way to keep track of various elements relating to the town. Does that make sense? Here's what we know about Phandelin. It's a frontier town. It used to be this thriving metropolis. It died off, whatever. Now there's new settlers coming. Very cool. So the first steading tag that we have is prosperity. Now, Phandelin is growing, but it is still a fairly remote frontier outpost. So I would say that it might be poor. Do I want it to be poor? Actually, I don't know. No, you know what? I want it to be moderate because it is a mining town and it's growing because settlers are coming due to the prospects of gold in them hills. So I'd like to think that maybe they are successfully getting some gold, but there are the bandits too. Shit. I made the judgment call that it should be a poor town because the bandits are probably taking the wealth, and anytime there are merchants coming, they're probably getting robbed, which we'll look into a little bit more later. Okay, the next tag we need to do is the population. Based on the description, people are coming to Phandelin. It is a booming frontier town, even with the red brands in play. So I think we can safely say it's growing. Maybe steady. I like growing because that creates more problems. Defenses was really an area that I had to think a lot because technically Phandelin does have defenses. It's just that those defenses are bandits. But bandits will still fight off any invaders. Therefore, I gave it the militia tag because bandits aren't necessarily the most professional of guardsmen. So now we get to the other tags, and this is where things get really interesting. Obviously, Phandelin has resources. It says so right in the book. The town has gold, platinum, fur, and lumber. If you're doing this yourself at home, feel free to add more if you like, but this is what the adventure says. There's no oaths because the writers of the Forgotten Realms fucking suck, but we'll go with trade. There's definitely trade. They're doing trading. Wizards never explicitly says who Phandelin trades with. They have to be trading with somebody. Given their proximity to Neverwinter, it would only make sense that they're trading with Neverwinter. Anyway, for enmity, this is also a tricky one because when you look at the map, most of the other towns around it have been sacked. So I did a little bit of homebrew tweaking and I decided that Leolon would be its main rival. I think that's true. I don't think it's true in the Lost Mines of Phandelin, but I think in the Greater Forgotten Realms lore, they do have beef. Now, fortunately, Phandelin does have history outlined by Wizards of the Coast. We know that it was sacked by orcs a long time ago, and then it used to be a bustling hub for the humans of the Phandelver's pack. I'm once again here to say that the Forgotten Realms is fucking stupid. So now that we've knocked the steading tags out of the way, now the real work of converting this begins. And no, it's not converting like the monsters over to Dungeon World, because A, that's not setting agnostic, and B, like these are all very, very common enemies that you'll be fighting. I guarantee like almost any system has stat blocks for them. No, what we need to be doing is setting up the fronts for this adventure. I saved this for the latter task because it's going to require way more work, even though it's going to be actually useful for the adventure itself. The first thing I did was read this stupid fucking book over and over and over again. I then made a bullet point list of every single thing that happens in this adventure. There are 7 major elements that happen in this adventure. First, you have the Kragmaw tribe, you have the Red Brands, you have the Banshee Agatha, you have the Necromancer at the Old Owl Well, you have the Orcs at Wyvern Tor, you have Venomfang in Thunder Tree, and you have the whole Wave Echo Cave storyline. So now we need to take all these disparate elements and put them into like 2 or 3 threads of dangers and things that happen. And I ultimately came up with 3 fronts for the Lost Mine of Fuck. And I ultimately came up with 3 fronts for the Lost Mines of Phandelver. Okay, so the first front is pretty obvious. It's the Forge of Souls, which, by the way, has like a way more epic name than what the thing actually does. In Dungeon World, every single front gets multiple dangers. The first danger is kind of obvious because it literally hits you right in the face at the beginning of the adventure, and that is the Kragmaw tribe. Through reading this, we know that there are 2 subsets of the Kragmaw tribe in this adventure. There's Clarg and, you know, his group at Kragmaw Hideout, and then there's King Groll at Kragmaw Keep. Now, dangers in Dungeon World's campaign organization system have what are called grim portents, and these are kind of like actionable things that happen. You want to make them kind of independent of the previous thing so that in case the players stop it, you know, the whole thing doesn't come tumbling down. And they're useful to outline because they can help you keep things dynamic and keep things moving. We know that the Gobos at Kragmaw Hideout are kidnapping travelers going along the Tribor Trail. It says so in the book, super easy. So for our first grim portent, we'll just write kidnap travelers along the Tribor Trail. So now we have to get a little creative and go beyond the bounds of the book. Now the question becomes, how would that escalate? What happens if the party doesn't intervene and stop them? Okay, so immediately my first thought is that Clarg would go from just like highway robberies, just like, you know, emerging from the forest, to like setting up like a toll road, like a blockade or something, and stopping travelers that way. Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna go with the set up toll road. Now, obviously, the second and third grim portent aren't gonna happen if the adventurers kill Clarg. But maybe they rescue Sildar, but they don't kill Clarg, and they escape and they go to Phandalin, whatever, and then they deal with other shit. Well, then maybe after the adventure's over and they decide to go to Neverwinter, heyo, there's Clarg's toll road. Or maybe there's Clarg's entire outpost along the road. Next, we have King Grall's castle. Now, there's nothing really dynamic about this. You basically learn Kragmaw Keep is a thing, and then you go there and you kill everyone inside and you rescue Gundren Rockseeker. Nothing else really happens. There's no motivation behind it. If you didn't go to Kragmaw Keep, literally nothing would change or happen except Gundren would die. That's about it. So I decided to add to it. Wait a minute. The first portent is like literally written in the book. Get info from Gundren. That was easy. So if the party doesn't act with any urgency to go to Kragmaw Keep to rescue him, they're going to torture and extract the map of Wave Echo Cave. And that's going to be a problem for them because now the Black Spider knows exactly where the Forge of Souls is, which is going to make the dungeon way harder. Then I got a little lazy with it. We can assume that Groll is probably being paid off by Nesnar to get information on the Forge of Souls by, you know, capturing Gundren or whatever. So he's probably going to use that money to assemble like a big ass army. And what does he do with that army? He besieges Phandalin. Now the next danger that we have for the Forge of Souls are the Red Brands who have currently set up shop in Phandalin. Now I split this into 2 dangers. One's a little bit more abstract than the other. Okay, so first we have Glassstaff. That's super easy. He's literally written in the adventure. But what does Glassstaff want? I mean, Wizards kind of chugs cock, and all they gave us is that he's working with the Black Spider to find the Forge of Souls. So, I mean, I guess that'll have to do. He wants to find the Forge of Souls. Which means that his first grim portent, like the first thing he's going to do is try to get information on the Forge Forge of Souls. But then the question becomes, what is he going to do after that? Oh, for some reason I'm just like stuck on armies. Because I mean, I can't really think of like what else he would do after getting information. All right, whatever, I guess. Assemble a bandit army. Then I'm gonna say he's gonna betray the Black Spider, because currently his only motivation in the Lost Mines of Phandelver as written is he's just gonna work with the Black Spider to get wealth and whatever. And in exchange, he's helping him, but like, we all know someone's betraying the other person. Like, the Black Spider is not going to honor his agreement. He's probably going to kill Glassstaff the second he gets to the Forge of Souls. Glassstaff probably knows this, and so he's, you know, getting ready to do some backstabbing. Finally, Glassstaff will claim the Forge of Souls himself. Once again, all of these things are meant to be independent of each other. Obviously, if you kill Glassstaff, then nothing else is gonna happen. But if you leave him alive, then maybe some of these grim portents can come to pass and you'll have to deal with it later. For the second little sub-danger, I decided to go with a corrupt government. So we know that the Red Brands run Phandalin. What do they do in Phandalin? What if they started like arresting opposition to them? So for example, we could see Darren Eatermath or Harbin Wester be arrested if the players take too long, they're dilly-dallying and they don't deal with the Red Brand. The question is, how do we escalate that while also making it like independent? Okay, so what if it escalates? This is kind of the same thing, but what if instead of just arresting opposition, they start getting more bold and they start executing the opposition? If you're like super grim and kind of fucked up like me, you could have like the players come back from, you know, whatever, Thunder Tree, and like some of the beloved NPCs are like hanging from posts. That'd be like super grim, and it would definitely tell the PCs that they fucked up by not dealing with this. And then finally we go to full tyranny. The Red Brands have completely taken over Phandalin, and the town is now hostile to the players they fucked up. Fuck it, we're gonna make this video long as shit. Okay, so the Wave Echo Cave arc was probably the easiest part of this because it's the most developed in this whole adventure. But any good adventure should have more than one adventure front going on, or campaign front. And fortunately, there's a lot of really random shit that happens in the Lost Mines of Phandelfuck. The only problem is that it's a lot of really random shit, so we're gonna have to create a lot more and really deviate from Wizards of the Coast kind of build. So while our players are dealing with like Yarno Albrecht, maybe the Many Arrows tribe is going and doing their thing. And what thing are they doing? Well, first we need to come up with motivation for them, because Wizards of the Coast are super lazy and they didn't give them any motivation whatsoever. They just said, oh, they like robbing and killing. Now, this is kind of a cliche, but what if the Many Arrows tribe were forced out of their homes by like a stronger orc clan? So now the Many Arrows tribe are on a mission. First, they're gonna accumulate supplies by robbing traders. This isn't written in the adventure, I made it up, but it sounds cool. Once they get sufficient supplies, they're gonna eliminate their competition in the wilderness. First, they're gonna eliminate him and Cust, because it's written in the book. Wizards of the Coast hints at it. He's an easy target. He's got like 12 skeletons and himself, and they're a bunch of orcs. So let's say that the Many Arrows successfully kill him and Cust. Where do they go next? The answer to that is kind of obvious. The Kragmaw tribe. Duh. If your party didn't take care of them, then the Many Arrows tribe probably are going to. And then after that, it would make sense that they would try to take on Venomfang. He's like really the only other major presence all along the Triboar Trail besides Phandalin. And taking on a singular dragon and his weird fucked up cult feels easier than besieging the town of Phandalin to me. Probably not. Someone's gonna roast me. And then after they kill Venomfang, they'd probably be super torqued off of their own, you know, strength. And so they would definitely besiege Phandalin. Because wouldn't you besiege Phandalin if you were a poorly written orc tribe? That's only one danger to the people of Phandalin. You also have Haymun Kost and his undead army. Now, just like the Many Arrows tribe, Wizards doesn't really give us any further motivation to why he's at the Old Owl Well with a little army of undead asking questions about who originally built it, so I had to make it up myself. What if he had like an evil like we know he's from the east, what if he had like an evil master who's like, you know, back east or whatever, and he gave him a quest, and he's like, hey man, I need you to conquer Neverwinter. And if he does conquer Neverwinter, he'll be made into a lich. Sounds pretty sick and evil, and like you could really elaborate on it if you don't deal with this. Now the question becomes, what does he need to do first? What if there's like a super powerful scroll that's in the Old Owl Well, and the only way that he could get it is if he knows the name of whoever built the tower? Like it's like locked behind like a chest or something, and it's like, you must speak the name of my builder to open this chest. And that's why he wants the adventurers to ask Agatha who built the Old Owl Well. I'm gonna write it down. So if he gets super powerful, then it only makes sense that he would then try to kill off the Many Arrows tribe. After all, they are the ones who are threatening him. Once again, this is kind of up to you as a DM as to who succeeds here, but it builds intrigue. It's stuff going on in the background. The world is alive. And I'm kind of on a Besiege Phandalin kick, so let's just say that once he kills off the orcs who are threatening him, he's gonna Besiege Phandalin. But unlike the orcs, he's probably gonna kill off all the townspeople so that he could raise them for his undead army. That is pretty fucked up and evil. I'm here for it. And then finally, we have a little bonus. I don't even know if this qualifies as a proper Dungeon World danger, but fuck it, Venom Fang. Venom Fang himself is a danger. He wants to grow his cult, he wants to secure his base at Thunder Tree, and he wants to grow his horde. That's about it. That's pretty much all you can do. You could probably think of a more creative thing, but I decided not to. And this video is probably really fucking long. And so that is how you can use Dungeon World's front system to make the Lost Mines of Phandelver just a little bit more interesting. Let me know if you think this actually did make it better and more interesting, or if I'm full of shit. And if this is your first time hearing about Dungeon World, you're like a diehard 5e player, and you want to know if Dungeon World is the game for you, or if you should switch to a rules light system, given all of the controversy, then you should click right over here and check out my video on the subject. Thanks for watching.